the nation, what's going on in and around the country. We'll bring you briefs of those stories subsequently. But for now, let's also let you know that the judges who were nominated for the Supreme Court are being, vetted by Parliament. We'll cross over subsequently for you to have a share of exactly what's going on in Parliament. We will bring you some discussions and talks about Zoomlion, to be specific, of the Jospon Group of companies. Last week, the president or the presidency released a statement as a response to the many calls of some of the activities of Zoomlion, following which the government said it would not renew the contracts of Zoomlion. There's some clarity that the company has done. We'll bring you all the details later here on Good Afternoon Ghana. For now, Desmond Okrekudan was standing by for some news briefs. Desmond, you're welcome, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, Annie. Thank you for the wishes.
Did you think I didn't know?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. But thank you very much, Annie. Thank you.
You're welcome again.
Great.
I hope the day is going well, though. It's a Monday. I know Mondays are very serious days. And
yes.
Very little time to have fun.
Definitely. Yeah. We're just waiting for the rest of the day and see how it goes. But so far, it's been good. We're grateful. Yeah.
Great.
Let's get into the details of the stories we have for you this morning. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look at our headlines now. Coming up in the bulletin, waste management company Zoomlion Ghana Limited clarifies contract with the Youth Employment Agency reached its natural end in September 2024 and was not cancelled or terminated by the government, as some media reports have suggested. We'll tell you more in this bulletin. And also coming up, government announces immediate closure of its embassy in Tehran, as well as plans to evacuate its citizens from Iran. But of course, we'll tell you about the emissions levy, or the 1 Ghana cedi, I beg your pardon, levy also. And coming up in this bulletin, the Ministry of Education releases a list of 25 private senior high schools approved for inclusion in the 2025 computerized school selection and placement system under the free SHS policy. And of course, we will tell you about the move by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to close down Ghana's embassy in Tehran, Iran, amidst the fight between Israel and Iran. Again, many thanks for joining us. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and also DSTV channel 277. I am Desmond Okrekudan. So let's get into the details, and we'll begin from the waste management company Zoomlion Ghana Limited, because the company has clarified that its contract with the Youth Employment Agency reached its natural end in September 2024 and was not cancelled or terminated by the government, as some media reports have suggested. In a statement issued in response to a June 11, 2025 letter from the Office of the President, Zoomlion said the contract related to the street sweeping program expired after a 6-month extension beyond its original March 2024 end date. Except of the letter says the contract has therefore reached its natural conclusion and expired. Contrary to claims in some media reports, this expiration does not constitute a termination or cancellation of the agreements by the government, and that is not what the Office of the President stated. Now, the presidency's letter issued following a petition by investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri confirmed that the contract will not be renewed and that future sanitation contracts will be awarded through competitive tendering. The letter also outlined plans to audit all post-expiration payments to Zoomlion and improve conditions for sanitation workers. Now, Zoomlion welcomed the government's push for accountability and procurement reform. Zoomlion Ghana Limited fully supports and welcomes this approach, the company stated. that's the clarification from the Zoomlion Ghana Limited. Still staying with Zoomlion, a delegation from the central government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, led by Balarabe Abbas Lawal, Minister of Environment, has paid a working visit to the Just One group of companies here in Accra. The visit aims to explore modern waste management strategies that could be implemented in Nigeria to address pressing environmental challenges.
The delegation toured the Pantan Waste Transfer Station, Accra Compost and Recycling Plant, ACAP, Bone Landfill and Universal Plastic Products and Recycling, all belonging to the Jospong Group of companies in Accra. Speaking to the media, leader of the delegation from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Honorable Balarabe Abbas Lawal, Minister of Environment, expressed admiration for Ghana's progress in waste management. He highlighted the comprehensive approach undertaken by Jospong, emphasizing how their initiative aligns with the principles of environmental sustainability, circular economy, and pollution control.
We are quite impressed with the level at which they have gone in trying to address garbage in Ghana and other countries. We've seen how far they've gone in trying to address our basic problem in Africa, which is garbage. So what we've heard from them is very impressive. The presentation was quite, it's quite wide in terms of trying to address the whole area of environmental degradation, pollution, and the rest of it. Because so we found out that it's a chain of activities that relates to the environment, from the issue of combating waste into wealth that we have seen, and trying to also see the element of circular economy, building circularity into every product that we have, and trying to see how we can reduce, reuse, and recycle some of our garbage around, and particularly the plastic, which has been a very, very serious issue world over, and particularly in Africa.
Echoing this sentiment, Hadiza Abubakar, head of business for Zoomlion Nigeria Limited, reaffirmed the company's commitment to developing African solutions tailored for the continent's unique challenges.
We're saying that we're building African solutions for Africans. So it's Africa for Africa by Africans. We are moving across board, across states, across countries within Africa. We have done the solution in Ghana. We're opening up across board. They've come to inspect today and they're very impressed. I mean, from what you heard, we'll be at the next city soon. But I mean, it's African solutions for Africans. We will continue to collaborate to prove ourselves. And like we said, we have employment, women. I mean, I'm female. I'm heading the Nigerian business. Tells you that it's really in line with the SDG rules, fully exclusive of women. And I mean, we will do everything we need to do, everything right, to ensure that we're building African solutions for Africans.
Zoomlion Ghana Limited also has footprint in other African countries, including Togo, Angola, Zambia, and Equatorial Guinea, amongst others.
Now, away from that, to guarantee the safety of the embassy staff, Ghana's embassy in the Iranian capital of Tehran has been closed with immediate effect following the Israel-Iran conflict. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has announced. Mr. Ablakwa also announced that the Mahama administration has decided to immediately evacuate Ghanaians living in Iran following an escalation of the Israel-Iran conflict. He says this is in the interest of the protection of Ghanaians living in the country. In a post on his X page, Mr. Ablakwa said to guarantee the safety of our embassy staff, Ghana's embassy in Tehran has been closed with immediate effect. The evacuation through land borders covers all Ghanaian diplomats, students, professionals, and other compatriots. He also stated that the government is equally keenly following developments in Israel and will advise shortly. In the interim, we have instructed that the embassy operations in Tel Aviv be reduced to the barest minimum, and all Ghanaians in Israel must maintain close communication with our consular department. So that's one of the stories coming. We'll be keenly following the developments on that particular one and bringing more details subsequently. Now let's talk education, because the Ministry of Education has released a list of 25 private senior high schools approved for inclusion in the 2025 computerized school selection and placement system under the free SHS policy. This is the first time private SHS have been incorporated into the program, a move aimed at increasing access to quality second cycle education, particularly in areas where public SHS are oversubscribed. The selection or the selected schools labeled under category E are core educational day institutions spread across all 16 regions. They offer diverse academic programs including general arts, general science, business, technical, visual arts, home economics, and agriculture. According to a statement from the Ghana Education Service signed by Prince Ajimandua, the director of the Schools and Instruction Division, the school selection deadline has been extended to Wednesday, June 25, 2025, to give candidates ample time to consider these new options. The inclusion of these private schools is part of a pilot phase of the free SHS policy expansion rolled out in collaboration with the Ghana National Council of Private Schools. Here's a full list of the 25 private senior high schools added to the free SHS program. You see that on your screen in a bit, and there you have. So in the Greater Accra region, we have Ideal College, Action Senior High Technical School, City Business High School, Delcom SHS, and also St. Andrew Senior High School. And to the Eastern region, Modern Senior High School located at Akron, King David Communication College, Somenya Secondary Technical School, there's Golden Gate Senior High School, out to the Central Region, St. Luke SHS, St. Richard's SHS, Mount Hebron College, Obama College, Samtet Oxford Senior High School, Samo Senior High School, New Site, Western North, O2 or O2 Memorial. To the Northern Region, Business College International, Upper East, Regentropin Senior High School, Upper West, Ideal College, Wa. To the Ashanti region, Cosmos Senior High School, Joy Standard College, Elite College, Kumasi. Volta region, there's Wallace Academy Senior High School, Bruno East, Mest Senior High School at TAG, and in the Bruno region, Ken Hammer Senior High Technical School. So those are the 25 private schools across the country who have been incorporated into the free SHS policy. We'll definitely see how that will pan out. But away from that, President John Dramani Mahama has pledged to end the persistent power cuts in parts of the Northeast region, assuring residents that his government will stabilize electricity supply as part of a broader energy reform agenda. Now, speaking at a Deb of Chiefs and people during his thank you tour of the region on Saturday, President Mahama emphasized the urgent need to address power challenges affecting homes, schools, and small businesses. He revealed that under the National Energy Expansion Plan, his administration will prioritize the looping of the Paulugu substation, a key move aimed at reducing outages and stabilizing supply.
So let's go to other things. My brothers and sisters, we cannot industrialize without electricity. We cannot learn, we cannot work or innovate in the dark. I'm aware of the persistent power fluctuations in the eastern zones of this region. As part of the National Energy Expansion Plan, we're going to prioritize the looping of the Paulugu substation, which will help stabilize the supply and prevent the kind of outages that is crippling small businesses and affecting households in the Northeast region. I can assure you very soon your power fluctuation will be a thing of the past. We're also prioritizing work on the Paulugu multipurpose dam to serve its intended objective of flood control, power generation, and irrigated agriculture. Moreover, in line with our 2025 budget commitments, we're going to invest in mini grids and solar extensions. We'll expand energy access to off-grid communities across the Northeast, and electricity must no longer be a luxury, but it must be a right for our people. Beyond infrastructure and economic reform, we're investing in human lives, and under the Mahama Cares program, every region, including the Northeast, will benefit from enhanced access to primary health care, improved maternal and child health services, modernized CHIPS compounds with digital diagnostics, and a reformed NHIS that prioritizes affordability and reliability.
Now, good morning, Ghana. Earlier today, the NDC Central Regional Communications Officer, Gabriela Tete, has stated that the Iran-Israel war will not immediately affect Ghana, calling on Ghanaians to judge the government based on its strengths and positive strides rather than its weaknesses. She added that while the country is building gold buffers, it is also important to build oil buffers. And she spoke on Good Morning Ghana earlier today.
Today, they announced that there's going to be reduction in fuel prices in the pumps because we are dealing with consignments that came in some last week, some 2 weeks ago. So the effect hasn't really hit the consumers yet. Again, it's early stages yet. But what the president said was very right. The directive to the energy minister to monitor and see, to make sure that the gains that we have made over the last 6 months and the benefits to Ghanaian consumers and businesses is not lost on everybody. Mind you, with increase in fuel prices, you're going to have inflationary issues if this is not handled properly. And inflationary not just for Ghana, but on the global scale. The global economy is already attempting to come out of 4 or 5 years of huge economic difficulties. And so definitely there could be the possibility that Ghana will experience some shocks. But for now, I trust in the capability of the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson. Happy Father's Day to him. Honorable Dr. Arthur Forson, and then the other strong economists and finance people that are behind the team, working and making sure that the economy, the government's eye stays on the economy and they don't take their eyes off the ball.
It wasn't just minority, even their party stalwarts had problems with it. They took to social media pleading with Ghanaians that take your time, it's not that we want to punish you, we are sorry, we apologize. You saw some social media posts, Ejuji, MPA, CEO, something along the lines of we are begging you.
He was pleading?
Yes, he was pleading. He was being sensitive to the backlash or the outcry on the ground. I even said that, if for nothing at all, after having said you won't introduce or increase taxes, apologize to us and let us understand the situation we are in. Maybe there's a crisis. Maybe there's something you've seen that we haven't seen, because maybe you have you are working using economic indices and indicators, or you have some AI technology that's preempting and giving you a certain forecast. You understand? You didn't do any of this. And then we come to the point where you are now saying that after introducing it and justifying it and releasing statements on it, you are now saying that you are repealing it indefinitely because it was politically suicidal. Why? Because you introduced another layer of burden after electricity tariffs and water had gone up. So this conversation of sensitivity and all that, if you look at the pattern, it's not sensitivity. They are playing politics with the economy. And over time, they'll be exposed.
President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to establish a new public university in the Savannah region as part of the National Democratic Congress's pledge to expand access to higher education across Ghana's 6 newly created regions. Speaking during a thank you tour in the regional capital, Damongo, on Saturday, June 14, the president said the proposed institution would specialize in agriculture and allied sciences.
I'm proud to announce that in line with the NDC 2024 manifesto to establish a public university in all the 6 new regions, I'm happy to announce that a public university will be established in the Savannah region. It will be a university whose focus will be on agriculture and the allied sciences. This university will train the human resource necessary to drive our Feed Ghana program and agriculture for economic transformation agenda. The university will not just be symbolic, it will be grounded in our national agenda for skills-driven development and aligned with our national education expansion framework and the 2025 budget, which allocates increased funding for tertiary infrastructure in deprived regions. Your Royal Majesty, additionally, I have asked the Ministry of Education to establish a STEM senior high school in Tinga in the Bole district, and to set up a TVET Center of Excellence in Salaga. These will provide hands-on vocational training in ICT, construction, green technologies, and agribusiness.
You're still watching the news updates here with me, Desmond Okreku. So let's do some other stories. And the Minister of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nati George, has officially launched Ghana's participation in the Osaka Expo 2025 in Japan with a firm promise that the coordinated effort between Ghana and Japan would average the Expo's global platform to boost investment, innovation and sustainable development in Ghana's ICT sector and beyond. Here is the Minister speaking.
This collaboration is part of our broader vision to position Ghana as a hub for ICT excellence in Africa, creating opportunities for private sector businesses to thrive. Our participation at the Expo will be robust and impactful. We will host an exhibition of cutting-edge projects and services, showcasing Ghana's ICT achievements to a global audience. An ICT business forum will bring together industry leaders to discuss strengths, challenges, and opportunities, while B2B sessions will connect Ghanaian institutions with their Japanese counterparts, fostering dialogue and paving the way for strategic alliances. These initiatives will culminate in the Ghana Day celebration on September 11, 2025, where we will all proudly celebrate our nation's digital progress. And I'll be present in Osaka, leading a delegation from Ghana of both the ministry and our private sector partners. Beyond the Expo, we are committed to deepening collaboration with the Japanese government. Measures are in place to explore a memorandum of understanding with Japanese institutions focusing on digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, capacity building, and technology transfer. We look forward to leveraging Japan's expertise to strengthen our ICT ecosystem, from expanding broadband access to training our youth in emerging technologies like AI and coding. And don't forget that we've launched the 1 Million Coders program, and we're going to be looking at what synergies we can build there. To our partners, local and international, your support is invaluable. To the media, I count on you to amplify this message, rallying Ghanaians and the global community to join us on this exciting journey. Together, we will showcase Ghana's ICT potential, forge lasting partnerships, and design a future society that benefits us all.
Now, some communities in Ada in the Greater Accra region will, in the coming days, see regular water flow through their taps after 8 years of water crisis, as engineers from the Community Water and Sanitation Agency visit the area to address the problems. Inquiries from the residents revealed that most of the taps only flow during the rainy season, making life unbearable. My colleague Jeffrey Mauto Atipo has the rest of the story.
Constituency is located in a coastal area with many communities sited near the sea. The communities are, however, bordered with many challenges, with access to potable drinking water being one of the major concerns, forcing residents to draw water from unsafe sources. This hose, dug near the sea, serves as their main source of water for domestic use. Agnes, an unemployed resident of Pute, gave a disturbing account of their plight in the last 8 years owing to the water issue.
Ufa hwa ba hu bi emunso na ye di ye aduane enye fine ana your friend is saying pure water etimi to bi gu ho a ye di nu aduane.
It is for this reason that executives of the NDC in the constituency, led by the Member of Parliament Comfort Doyo Kujo, brought a team of engineers from the Community Water and Sanitation Agency to affected communities including Totope, Elavanyo, Chwasam Kope, Animapa, Dechekope and Media to resolve the problem.
Communities such as Asibe Kope, Dechekope, Chwasam Kope, Podo Kope, Pute, Totope, Aminapa, Media, Alavanyo, Sochopa, Doga Kope, all of them will get water, continuous flow of water. So you can see that the reset agenda is really working. And I thank the General Chairman for coming with me and the Minister of Western Housing.
The MP led the engineers to all affected locations, prompting the acting regional director of the agency, Rollins Kotoku, to assure of immediate resolution after learning the challenges.
We have a schedule, and the timetable is such that it's from Tuesday 4 a.m. to Thursday 9 p.m. And so if the people are abreast with this time, I think the situation should they should be able to assess the little that they can. But as my chief executive pointed out, the works that we are doing, we hope that the challenge will be forestalled in the nearest term.
For Agnes and the rest of the residents, they remain calm with high hopes that authorities will address the issue. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament Comfort Doyo Kujo hinted that discussions are far advanced to address concerns of other communities on the main lines of the Ghana Water Company.
Now, the public has been urged to ensure it cultivates the habit of segregating waste from source to prevent pollution of water bodies in the country. This came to light during the cleanup exercise by KEK in partnership with Asase at Peshi Lagoon at Laboma Beach, a suburb of Accra.
Hundreds of volunteers and partners such as Norway Embassy, Ecosoil, a subsidiary of Jospon Group of Companies, among others, participated in the cleanup exercise, collecting and disposing of waste and debris along the beach, especially plastics. Speaking to the media, UNESCO representative to Ghana, Edmond Mukala, says the event is aimed at raising awareness about the importance of marine conservation and promote sustainable practices.
This cleanup exercise is essential. First of all, it shows that we don't only talk the talk, but we do the talk. In particular, when it comes to the protection of the environment, protecting our ocean, responding to the appeal done by the UN Secretary General and all other major leaders and partners, demonstrating that the refuge, plastic and all this kind of pollution is affecting our planet.
The Norway Deputy Ambassador to Ghana, Harry Holm, says Ghana is an ocean country and Norway is looking forward to a long-term collaboration over many years to try and clean the ocean, to manage the oceans better and to help with sustainable fisheries.
So Norway, like Ghana, is an ocean country, and Norway and Ghana have a long cooperation over many years to try to clean the oceans, to manage the oceans better, to help Ghana manage its fisheries, and this cleaning up the beach is part of this joint effort.
Daniel Lamte, Ecosoil Business Development Manager, called for continuous action to address sanitation issues along our beaches, take responsibility for our waste and ensure that our drainage systems don't pollute our water bodies.
Proposal is part of the environmental and sanitation of the Jospon Group, but our focus area is on the waters. So we work on the beaches and then on the Volta Lake as well, making sure the landing sites are cleaner. So this morning we joined Plastic Punch, UN, and then the Regional Maritime University as part of the World Ocean Celebration to clean this beach and to call on responsible or responsive citizenship.
Other participants also added their voices.
We are clearly an agency that is against the use of plastics, right from our homes to their disposal, wherever, whether proper or not. We think that plastic has no place in our environment.
First of all, it's been service to mankind, service to God, because we understand that at the time of creation, there was none of us.
And that's all for the news update this afternoon. Good afternoon, God. Many thanks for joining. I am Desmond Okrekodans, handing over to Annie Fwampo for the rest of the program. Annie?
I'm just wondering, in your area where you live, I don't want to ask you where, but have you seen any efforts of cleaning there, like maybe the way the Zoomlion people sweep around?
Not exactly. Not exactly. It was just probably when
you don't live in on a principal street.
Please.
Where you live? Are you in some corner?
I do. It was just when the roads were about to be fixed that I saw that some of the residents in the area had to, because they were doing another gutter or something like that, so they had to clear some of their stuff. But in my area, actually, there's not so much, waste in the gutters like that. Yeah.
Oh, you don't produce a lot of
Yes,
waste.
yes.
Are you sure?
It's not choked like that.
So your place doesn't get flooded when you...
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Oh, lucky you.
It doesn't.
Can you please continue like that?
Definitely.
Let's hope that population in your area doesn't grow.
Well, and of course, the education about making sure that we take matters into our hands and do not drop, refuse and all of that.
Yes.
Around.
In learning how to manage your own waste.
Definitely, very, very important. Yep.
Okay. Desmond, I'm grateful. Thank
As
you
always.
for the news update. All right. So as Desmond gave us a story, we will cross over to Parliament eventually to go and bring you the vetting activities happening with the Supreme Court judges who, were nominated, of course, as it will have it or as the law will have it. They have to be vetted before. So, we appointed a committee. Appointment committee has begun the newly nominated Supreme Court justices, and the letter addressed to the acting Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni listed the nominees as Justice Dennis Dominic Ajay, Justice Briel Simon Zuburai, and then we have Justice Senyo Jamefe, we have Justice Kwe Kuteria Aka Bwafo, Justice Philip Bright Mensah, Justice Jana Pare, Bartels Kuju, and Justice Hafisata Amaliboba. And those are the justices who have been nominated, and we're hoping, looking forward to their vetting and subsequent approval for the Supreme Court. We'll take a breather. When we come back, we'll have a guest with us in the studio as we'll get through the letter that was released last week by the presidency regarding the Zoomlion appointment. How far they have gone and what it intends to do. We'll get into the wording of the letter itself, and then we'll also give you the details of what Zoomlion is saying and maybe some clarification that they want to make. But as it stands now, you just know that if you see anyone sweeping the streets in a Zoomlion costume, it is not Zoomlion. It must be somebody, some company, somebody just trying to also clean the environment. However, it will not be Zoomlion. So they will have to check even the uniforms and the costumes they're wearing. We'll get into more of that as my guests will join me in the studio. For now, let's take a breather. When we come back, I'll explain.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
Smart, smooth, interactive, and a built-in Android active panel made for modern work and home. For corporate clients and university students, enjoy top quality 10th generation Toshiba laptops built for performance, power, clarity, and speed, all in one desktop. At Mycom JA Computers, get a laptop for as low as 1,000 Ghana cedis. All products are imported from the USA with a 1-year warranty. Visit Mycom JA Computers today and elevate your tech.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. Yes, I can. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your...
The delegation toured the Pantan Waste Transfer Station, Accra Compost and Recycling Plant, ACAP, Bone Landfill, and Universal Plastic Products and Recycling, all belonging to the Jospong Group of companies in Accra. Speaking to the media, leader of the delegation from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Honorable Balarabe Abbas Lawal, Minister of Environment, expressed admiration for Ghana's progress in waste management. He highlighted the comprehensive approach undertaken by Jospong, emphasizing how their initiative aligns with the principles of environmental sustainability, circular economy, and pollution control.
We are quite impressed with the level at which they have gone in trying to address garbage in Ghana and other countries. We've seen how far they've gone in trying to address our basic problem in Africa, which is garbage. So what we've heard from them is very impressive. The presentation was quite, it's quite wide in terms of trying to address the whole area of environmental degradation, pollution, and the rest of it. Because so we found out that it's a chain of activities that relates to the environment, from the issue of combating waste into wealth that we have seen, and trying to also see the element of circular economy, building circularity into every product that we have, and in trying to see how we can reduce, reuse, and recycle some of our garbage around, and particularly the plastic, which has been a very, very serious issue world over, and particularly in Africa.
Echoing this sentiment, Hadiza Abubakar, head of business for Zoomlion Nigeria Limited, reaffirmed the company's commitment to developing African solutions tailored for the continent's unique challenges.
We're saying that we're building African solutions for Africans. So it's Africa for Africa by Africans. We are moving across board, across states, across countries within Africa. We have done the solution in Ghana. We're opening up across board. They've come to inspect today and they are very impressed. I mean, from what you heard, we'll be at the next city soon. But I mean, it's African solutions for Africans. We will continue to collaborate to prove ourselves. And like we said, we have employment, women. I mean, I'm female. I'm heading the Nigerian business. Tells you that it's really in line with the SDG rules, fully exclusive of women. And I mean, we will do everything we need to do, everything right, to ensure that we're building African solutions for Africans.
Zoomlion Ghana Limited also has footprint in other African countries, including Togo, Angola, Zambia, and Equatorial Guinea, amongst others.
All right, so Zoomlion, well, is doing pretty well, going places, particularly the African countries. And for now, we can confirm that Zoomlion happens to be in about 24 countries. Now, it's a company that is trying, is doing its best to help both Ghana and all other African countries that it's making a representation. So I wouldn't say that it's a subset as a company, but I would just say that it has the edge of maybe clarifying. Mostly you won't find that Zoomlion is always, at its defensive mode, but it will want to make some clarity on certain issues. So a statement has come out, but before I get into the statement, let me just introduce the guest who's joined me in the studio today. Emma Joa Said Dia is the Director for Communications, Corporate Affairs, Zoomlion Ghana Limited, and she joined me on the platform this afternoon. Very welcome to you. Thank you for your time. And how is Zoomlion doing in general? They're doing very well. Okay, so let's just get into. And I'm just hoping that it will be put on the screen so we all go through it as shared. Now, there was a statement last week that was shared about the state or the status of Zoomlion Company Limited and the position of government on it. Petition, it's a letterhead of the president. So it says a petition to discontinue the expired contract between the Youth Employment Agency, YE, and Zoomlion Ghana Limited. So it was a response to the petition. Okay, there you have it. Now it says, I refer to your letter dated April 27, 2025 on the above matter. His Excellency, the President, acknowledges the serious concerns raised in your letter and response as follows. 1. Expiration of contract. The contract between Youth Employment Agency, YE, Zoomlion Ghana Limited has expired and will not be renewed. Audits of payments and claim. All payments made to Zoomlion after the contract expiration will be thoroughly audited. No further payments will be authorized without proper verification, and any unauthorized payments will be recovered. Also, conduct and competitive procurement. Cabinet has directed that future sanitation contracts be subjected to competitive procurement process rather than one national contracts. There should be regional or district-based tenders for private firms. So this could reduce cost through competition, pricing, and stimulate innovation. Now, as companies, okay, innovation as companies, corporate, I just want to make sure I get this word correctly because I can't see it well. Okay, compete, as companies compete on service quality to secure contracts. As cabinets also, subcommittees will develop the modalities for implementing this. Sweep fees. With a probable cost of saving, the government intends to increase the sweepers' fees to a more livable income. And then fumigation contracts that have not been performed satisfactorily will be reviewed and, where appropriate, termination in accordance with their terms upon the advice of the Attorney General and upon the advice of the Attorney General. So this was the statement that was released. Please accept our assurances of my highest esteem. This was a response to journalists who decided to, petition the presidency. It has been running for, I think, years, a lot of years now, regarding the work of Zoomlion. And of course, the Secretary to the President signed it and is copied to Manasseh Azuri, freelance journalist. All right. So that's what we have. Now, this morning, it was widely circulated. Most of the newspapers also captured it with Zoomlion. Some of us who had been on air actually had to wait for afternoon because we knew we were going to have some full time to bite on this. And, lo and behold, we have been served with what we expected to have. So let me welcome Emma again to the studio. Emma, you're welcome once again. All right. Now, the statement you released, I don't know if you would want me to also capture a bit of the statement, but before that, let me just ask you how you received the statement from the presidency once it was released and widely circulated on social media and other platforms.
Well, you know that letter was not addressed to Zoomlion. So we understand that it's something that is making the news. Yeah. And people are concerned because our name has been mentioned. And we respond to the many questions that people are asking us from the point of our performance and our ability to do what we know how to do best, and the fact that we want to serve Ghana.
So that is how. So when you saw it, even though it was not addressed to you, what was the organizational runarounds about it? What were you communicating? What were you saying? How did you receive it? I know that it was not addressed to you, but you were the main character of that particular letter.
Yeah, so the point was the contract has expired on its own terms already, so which one has been terminated? That was the question I asked. And so we know that in March 2024, the contract ended. And by the time the contract is about to end, let's say 3 months before time, one of the parties will have to remind each other that this one is about ending. So we did that, and we were served with a response that we could have an extension till September. And at the end of September 2024, that has been it. And there is no contract, so there is no job being done. So I was taken aback a bit, and I believe same as a lot of the management members. But we are open to...
What were you taken aback on?
That how does a contract that has expired on its own terms be terminated? That was.
But that communication didn't come from the presidency, did it? Because I haven't read the statement. It didn't say I've communicated. It said it has ended. The letter
okay. So if
other media platforms,
yeah, the discussions doing the rounds is what I was
some captured, some use the keywords ends. I'm looking at some government terminates, Zoomlion contract. Others also said President Mahama ends Zoomlion contract, and all that. So the communication was a little misleading.
Yeah, but for the general management of Zoomlion, we respect the decision of the government, and we welcome the developments that will follow the procurement opening that will happen. And we are ready to be part of that discussion.
Okay, so let's quickly go through the letters. The letter received, the statement released by Zoomlion Ghana Limited. Yeah, and that will also guide us a bit, so that we can look at how Zoomlion's preparation or preparedness is towards the procurement process. So it says that Zoomlion clarified state of Youth Employment Agency YEA contract amid circulation information. Accra Zoomlion wishes to clarify the following blah 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 blah. So let's start with one. Contract simply reached natural expiration. You see it on the screen. The year contract mentioned in the circulation letter related solely to the street sweeping program originally set to explain in March 2024, but granted a 6-month extension thereby and establishing its new expiration date in September 2024. Okay, so tell me about the 6-month extension. How was it communicated to the original contract?
Yeah, it was a letter, so I see it as an addendum to what existed.
To the original contract?
Yeah, because the details of that letter made it clear to us that by September there should be no contract. So that was the way we got the communication.
Okay.
It was a letter from YEA.
Okay, but the original contract ended when?
March.
Before March,
yeah.
Before the addendum, which ended in September, and it was YEA. Now, this letter from the YEA, or the addendum from the YEA, it was the same YEA that some years ago, I think 2023, was threatening to cancel your contract. Was that not the same YEA? And I'm not talking this government. I'm talking previous administration.
I have not seen a YEA letter stating a cancellation. So maybe it said it would open it for tendering. And 2019, there was something like that, which we participated. Yes, and because of our capacity in terms of our national presence, in terms of our equipment holding, and the track record of what we have done for Ghana, for which other countries have seen and are calling on us, we won, and we were doing the work until it ended.
Okay. Let me continue reading. It says that the contract has therefore reached its natural conclusion and expired. Contrary to the claims to some media reports, this expiration does not constitute a termination or cancellation of agreements by the government, and that is not what the Office of the President stated. So Zoomlion Ghana Limited has also maintained a consistent and productive partnership with successive governments on the year module for 19 years. The relationship underscores our dedication to Ghana's sustainable development goals and reflects the government's long-standing recognition of our contributions. It is important to note that the letter from the presidency does not indicate a termination of Zoomlion other than contracts from the broader YEA sanitation module. So the number 2.2 says that full support of competitive procurement. Now, the letter from the presidency also highlighted the government's intention to implement a competitive procurement process for the future sanitation contracts. Zoomlion Ghana Limited fully supports and welcomes this approach. We wish to affirm that the recently expired year contract was competitively procured in 2019. We are well prepared and eager to actively participate in the forthcoming competitive procurement process. So our extensive long-standing track record, also technical and operational competence, commitment to innovation, and unparalleled nationwide reach positions as strongly to compete effectively and deliver an even better service under new contract modules. That's what you're ready to do.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, because we came about at a point where we realized the need for this kind of solution. And if I had the presentation and I had the permission, I would have done that. You would see that the original plan of the YEA was to use donkey carts to cart waste from the principal streets that have been cleaned. So we came up with the innovation of the manual tricycle that, look, if you are carting waste from the streets with donkey carts, how much waste are you eliminating and how much waste are you generating through that process? But with this machine, which is a manual machine, it will cart the waste without bringing another waste. YEA contract never sat anywhere. Before we came, it was not there. When the modules happened, that's government wanted to introduce certain modules for YEA, and they brought the sanitation module. the concept, as much as I know, was a donkey cart. And we brought our innovation in there to support the nation. We got the nod, and we have been doing this job. And since then, we have moved on from one innovation to the other, and we have supported the nation so much in terms of cleaning. And when we came in, I remember cities and towns in Ghana were greeted with mountains of waste. And we evacuated all of these. And worldwide, it is the best practice to involve public-private partnership in terms of sanitation and environmental management. So our coming in, I believe, has done a great deal of good to Ghana. Hence our mention that we are very adaptable and resilient, and we have the nationwide presence, we have the logistics, and we have the ability to train and equip people with some level of benchmark exposure so that they can do the work. I say this against the backdrop that recently we took some of the team leaders, we organized them in teams with supervisors, the team leaders and their general supervisors to Russia and Belarus to benchmark what happens there so that they can sell that concept to their teams and help them do it well going forward. So with all these up our sleeves, why can't we say we'll do it? We will.
But how do you know that? How do you know that you are even, permitted to partake in? Not to say that you have been banned from working with government. You have not. But there seems to be an issue on the table. So if you look at the government's letter, it has assured to pursue a certain course in terms of auditing of payment and claims, conduct competitive procurement, and also, government already, that debate was there, that government was the one paying the sweepers, but it looks like because they were working with Zoomlion, people perceived that it was Zoomlion that was paying them, but it was government's arrangement. So you see that in the letter, government says that it will increase the sweepers' wages that they are collecting to a livable, levels, and then even fumigation contracts. So government has listed a number of contracts that it was into with Zoomlion and said that it was going to push for investigation. So if it opens tender now, will it allow Zoomlion in? Why do you think it will?
Well, we are hopeful that as a private company in Ghana that has its hands on a job that has supported our sanitation, environmental sanitation space so much, we will be allowed to participate because we agree to whatever government wants to do. And we're also open to any investigation that the government wants to do because we are that transparent and we cannot prevent government from doing the investigations that they want to do. So I am just hopeful that definitely as a company in Ghana, we are allowed to also
because those are the real issues. I don't know if it has come to you as Zoomlion management sitting to discuss some of these issues that have come up that, okay, but somebody may have asked at management meeting, but do you think that we will be allowed to actually, bid for this contract? Every businessman wants a contract, at least with government. And they wouldn't, it's not about just working and making money. It's about you want to work because you have the capacity.
If that should happen, then that should be, I would say, a deliberate arrangement to kick Zoomlion out. And that will not be fair in the first place. And I also expect that Ghanaians look at the input, the involvement of Zoomlion in the environmental sanitation space, look at what we have done to support the strength of our environmental sanitation space. Because, like I mentioned, the heaps of waste that we helped to take away, we also deliberately assisted in making sure that the individuals part of waste management governance happens. So we did the free bin promo, making sure that people understand the need that you and I as individual generators own it a responsibility to get good receptacles, standardized receptacles to put our on-premises waste in, which we have done over the years, and today is almost not existent for people to put their waste in something other than a waste bin. We have done this, and we have also gone ahead to help women who joined the model and were presented to us as sweepers on the road to become heavy-duty truck operators today, because we trained them to do this. We gave them foreign exposure for them to feel confident enough to do this. Some of them are using the landfill compactors, others are doing the skip trucks and all other heavy-duty equipment. We have contributed enormously to improve the environmental sanitation space. So wanting to step us aside, I think would be a deliberate thing, and that wouldn't be fair.
Is that what you sense? I mean, honestly, are you sensing that?
Not yet. I have not given that a thought as a person.
Because you've been working with government for 19 good years. I don't think that any company that works with government for all these years will be without blemish. Maybe there is something you may have done. Some journalists will like to highlight it. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody's perfect, like they say, and no company is perfect, I would say. So for all those 19 years, have you not had competitors? You've had a lot of competitors in the space who have always wanted what you want to do. Is that not something, some information, sometimes you pick from the vineyard that something is happening?
And we have a number of waste management companies. We came to meet a handful, and a number of them have also evolved after our existence. And we put in the energy to revamp our fleet, train our staff, and better our lot so we can improve what we do in the environmental sanitation space. So we are not oblivious of the fact that people have organizations wanting to do what we do. And we do not walk to government and pick up the contract for ourselves.
Yeah.
So if there is a competitive bidding that will be opened, we are equally Ghanaians. So I expect that we are allowed to participate in that. And we have never prevented any company from wanting to do what we do. Let us all go to the bid and let the best company win.
So I wanted to pick this from your statement, but let me do that rather than saying it from my mind. So you said that you're welcoming accounting, so accountability measures and reaffirming commitments to Ghana. And then you also talked about Pan-African reconciliation. Okay, we'll get into that, the international issues that you're dealing with. So this one, you said that the Zoomlion Ghana Limited welcome fully supports all accountability procurements and directed by the presidency, including the audit of the payments and verification of claims related to the expired Youth Employment Agency contract, and then as a responsible corporation, corporate entity, transparency, integrity, and delivering value of money are core to our operations. So we endorse the government's commitment to reform and innovation within the sanitation sector. We also are confident these measures will enhance service delivery, foster greater public trust, and strengthen institutional framework. The Pan-Africanism issues, it says that, I'll get into that, but let me jump from that and come to the conclusion, because I'll take you to the international front and tell us about the new contract that you are also getting yourselves into. Conclusion, it says that in alignment with the reset agenda, the government of Ghana, the government of the President John Dramani Mahama focused on rebuilding equity, sustainability, empowerment, and transformation. Zoomlion Ghana Limited reaffirms its steadfast commitment to collaborating with the government and all stakeholders. Now, earlier on when I was talking, I mentioned how you find that people are working on the street, they're sweeping, they're cleaning, they're doing something, and they're wearing Zoomlion costumes, but they are not working for Zoomlion. Explain that to me.
Yeah, you see, let me take you back to 2008. I happened to be supervising the Lateshinungwa area, and I met women doing this job. They had meaningful businesses they were doing in the market, but early in the morning, they will come as YEA staff and come and clean, and they go, I'm like, why are you doing this? They're like, we love to work for government. We love, and we've been trained as women to clean already. So if we are sweeping the streets of Ghana to support the government, why not? I have seen over the years that people join this module out of the love they have for the country and the existing governments. I have seen people who have dropped out of Zoomlion long ago and are still wearing their uniforms, doing their own private rounds. So the contract has ended, and they have the uniforms with them, and they are doing whatever they want to do with the uniforms.
What is the module
Cleaning.
like? What's the module like? When you sign on with government, what do I have on the screen? Waste collection. Okay, so these are just
the reclaimed landfill.
Okay, some activities that Zoomlion undertakes. When YEA gives you the staff to work with, and then you have to give them the materials like uniforms, the brooms, the catharsis, whatever they have to use, how is it distributed and how is it managed?
Yeah, it is given to the supervisors to be given to them, and 2 times in a year we renew. And when it's worn out, it's with them. We don't claim it back because of the kind of work they do with the uniforms. It will not be advisable to take it back to do anything with it. That is the reason why some have dropped out of the organization, the scheme, and are still having those uniforms.
Is that not affecting you?
For now, I am seeing that picture, but hitherto...
You weren't?
I didn't, because the supervisors knew who belonged to Zoomlion and who didn't belong to Zoomlion. But up to the point where the government that gives us the job knows that it's ended, we also know that it's ended, then we don't have any jurisdiction to govern again.
Mm. So let's get into the women, those who are working with. I'll come back to this matter. Those who are working with you, and some are happy because they just want to work with government. Not too long ago, we had women who were going into studios crying out loud that their payment had not come, and you were stifling them. They had been sweeping, but nothing is coming. It was very frustrating working, watching them cry out that way, especially knowing that some of them really aged and they didn't have to be in that situation. Explain what happened.
Yeah, very early working on this module, government attempted to pay the YEA people. Then it was called NYEP. And after some time, they had to bring in the public-private partnership bit, which allowed that the contractor would pre-finance, then government will reimburse the contractor later. So we will have to pre-finance, and then it's reimbursed after a quarter. But in the last nearly 2 years, the reimbursement hasn't come. Okay, and because it is not coming and we do not have a standing contract, it is difficult to source for a facility to continue pre-financing the project. And so that is what happened, and it made their payments to stall.
Government was supposed to be, what was the agreement in the monies coming in from government?
They reimburse us after a quarter of
after every quarter.
Yes.
After every quarter.
Yes.
After pre-financing,
yes.
every quarter they have to pay.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, the payment had stalled.
Yeah, nearly 2 years.
So how are you paying them?
So after some time, that is when the payment got stalled, and you described the scenarios you saw.
Yeah, but when government payment was not coming, you were still paying them.
Yeah, because we are a business and we do many other things. So we could fetch from here and sort it out there. But after nearly 2 years, how long can you be collecting from the right and so using it to support the left? How long? You can do that, but until a point.
So how did we solve this problem?
The payment has still not kicked in, and
but
they have not been paid.
They've still not been paid?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I actually thought it was sorted out at some point. Maybe still waiting for governments to. So what are you going to do? Are you putting pressure on governments to make the payments? Because right now, for your contract has expired, government is owing you how much? Do you care to put it out?
I will not put out the figures here, but the duration of the time
2 years.
is nearly 2 years, yeah.
It's 2 years?
Yes.
So government is owing you 2 years. The contract ended in September, considering the addendum. And those who worked for government have not been paid for all this period.
Yeah.
What's the guarantee that you get the payments? Because sometimes when government changes, there are problems, there are challenges. I don't want to take on your burden that you left for me. I will pay, but I don't care. Well, I'll take my time. It was not me.
So that is why we understand that they want to do the auditing and everything. So we will cooperate with them to do the necessary things that they have to do and impress upon them the need to do the needful to us, honor their obligation to us, and see what happens.
Okay, so it means that I want to believe what the issues that were raised by the journalists, following which a petition was sent to the government, you're ready to respond to all those matters that were raised, because it has been running for too many years.
Yeah, for the auditing, we cannot dictate the pace. So we are open to the auditing. When it happens, we will cooperate and let the findings, whatever findings they may find. We cannot preempt that now.
What were some of the challenges you faced for 19 years, apart from delay of payments? What were some of the challenges Zoomlion itself faced? Because yearly by yearly, I think I've monitored your activities from when you started to. We see that technologically, there's always improvement in terms of managing the waste. There's always improvement. After sweeping, you sweep always. But the waste we're generating and how it is processed, how it is recycled, you have added on more. We've seen plants coming up. We've seen so many things. But what were some of the challenges in the system?
The major challenge that we have encountered is the non-existence of land for landfilling. Ideally, every MMDA is supposed to have an engineered landfill, at least one. But as I speak to you in Accra, we don't have any. The one that we have is the one that Zoomlion set up at Adepa, near Nsawam.
We don't have a landfill site where?
For the municipalities in Accra, I'm just using Accra.
Okay.
So if in Accra, the municipalities and metros and districts do not have engineered landfills, we have dump sites. Okay? So the engineered landfill that Zoomlion set up is at Adepa, and that is where everybody from Accra moves to. And that's a challenge, because if you have to travel almost 50 kilometers in, 50 out, that is a whole toll on you, because you're going to burn fuel and it will affect your revenue. And
it will actually affect your production hours.
Yeah, the turnaround time is too long. And when the turnaround time is too long, it also affects the environment, because it is waste and decomposition starts. The moment the waste is generated, it starts to decompose. So that has been our challenge, and also the attitude of the generators. Because I believe if we should be reducing the generation by way of reusing some of the things that we deem as waste, giving it a little bit more of life, that would have reduced the volume of waste that we will put out there. Okay. And then the nature of our roads, the inner roads, most of them are not well fitted, and that is also a big problem to the kind of equipment we use. So we introduced the tricycles that we nicknamed Bola Taxi. At least those are smaller and they can meander into the corners and bring out the waste. So apart from the non-payment, the attitude and the non-existence of engineered landfills has also been a problem. So it is against this backdrop that our research team keep on researching, and then they bring up the idea. So they brought up the need to set up a plant where we'll do the sorting, because in the waste characterization, we realized that about 61 to 62% of the waste that we generate is organic. And if it is organic, to give organic waste some extra life, you compost, so that the compost can be supplied to the agrarian community, and that brings us a good support as a country in terms of production of food. Yes, and then we will be able to cut the importation of fertilizer if things go well.
Interesting. So as you have been working for the government or with the country, you're also conducting research to see how you can improve, and that's what's informed the recycle plants.
Yes.
How about the landfill sites that you're also managing?
Yeah, we manage a few landfills. There are a few landfills, one in Takoradi, Tamale, Accra, where else? Okay, let me take these three. We do the one in Accra and the one in Tamale. The one in Takoradi, I believe it belongs to another company.
The one in Accra is the one at Adepa?
Yes, and Adepa is not in Accra. So, but we manage that, and when the Boom landfill, which was an engineered landfill, but got to it ran over the required heights that it's supposed to go to, so it was decommissioned, and we capped it. It was the waste landfill company that capped it, and now it looks like what we saw in the pictures.
Oh, okay. So the waste management, the recycling plants and the waste management sites, they're actually not part of our contracts that we're talking about.
Not at all.
It's your own developed systems that you're using to support.
Yeah, the YEA module is just one contract that we manage.
Sweeping principal streets.
Principal streets. And that is just one assignment that Zoomlion has, and we do. We have the SIP contract with the assemblies. We have these plants that we manage. We have the landfills are also running. These are all other companies, other assignments within the group.
So why is it so critical to have this sweeping contract?
You see, we are doing waste management, and this is the beginning, the generation point.
You want to be involved right from the start.
We are doing the full chain of waste management. So if we are handling the primary section of waste management, that is sweet, that is good.
Why is it that good?
I told you it's the beginning of the chain.
I know.
Yeah, so it is good in terms of us doing the job. It is the beginning of the chain, and we cannot skip the beginning and start from the middle. You get it? So it's fine if we are doing the sweeping.
That's where you started from.
And collecting, it is good. And, every organization has a core objective. Every organization has a core objective, and many a times they do not deviate from the core. Okay. We want to do waste management, and we want to manage the environment, and that starts with the sweeping of the streets.
Okay. Let's cross over to your international
business.
Yes, businesses that we're seeing as far as the waste management contracts are concerned. But in Ghana, we're dealing a lot more with flooding, and most of the complaints has been because of choke gutters, because of this, because of that. What role do you play in there?
We desealed some of the gutters along the
major roads,
principal streets. We do that. But most at times, I see that the flooding is coming from the attitudes that we do not change. People deliberately bag their waste and dump them into storm drains. I don't know what we are thinking, that when the runoffs send the waters into those storm drains, it will carry it away or melt it or something. You can find a whole lorry tire in a drain. You could find a used up mattress in a drain.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. Sometimes a fridge.
Oh, how? Maybe just the flooding carried it away, not because somebody threw it in a storm drain.
No, you put the damaged fridge behind your house or behind your window and it's there. And the runoff sweep it off. You are responsible. You get it. Once you don't like it, put measures in place so that
had it disposed.
Yeah. Even when people have signed on to our door-to-door waste collection, which is strictly by the waste you generate in your house that you put into the bin and we cart it away. Occasionally, when you want to do your gardening, when you want to prune the trees in your house, that is a special exercise, and you will have to call your contractor and have that kind of discussion. They will not do it. They will stuff the bins with all these sticks, okay? And when the collectors come and pack huge bags on the side and expect that you take the content of the bin and add almost 2 times the content of the bin on the side into it. Meanwhile, these compaction trucks moving have a number of bins they have to cut in a day. Some compactors have to cut 240 bins in a day. So if I'm taking 3 of them from your house for the space of 1,
I'm going to deprive someone.
and if there is no arrangement for that, you see, and these things will come back to bite the brand that is doing the collection. That is why I'm saying that for the flooding, it is not only because streets are not swept. It is also because of our attitudes. If you are putting up a building in the buffer zone of a river.
So failure to implement bylaws affects your work?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk about the international before we cross to Parliament. Because we're seeing the news also. You're not just at the presidency, you're also in other countries. What's going on there?
Yeah, so many countries have seen what we do and have come down to see exactly what's happening here. Some of these solutions we have, hitherto you'd find them in Europe, America, or the other big brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when they come here and they see that you have a whole plant that recycles waste, gives even organic waste a second life, and you have a wastewater processing unit, you have medical waste, a good facility that manages medical waste, they are interested. And they are like, if this is happening at our backyard, brother, can't you give us a helping hand? And then they bring us on board. And right now, we are in 24 countries and still counting. And over there, the interesting bit of it is that we fly the flag of Ghana. Because this company will enter a country and register itself as a Ghanaian company entering that country. Either we are coming there with our processing units or with technical know-how or anything.
So Ghana is just like a microcosm of all your contractors. Because I'm looking at, look, I've seen the maps.
Yeah.
You don't even know how this information, but I have it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've seen Nigeria, DR Congo, Guinea-Bissau, Cote d'Ivoire, Angola, Tanzania, Kenya, Senegal, Togo, Gabon, Libya, Uganda. I've seen Liberia, Guinea, Conakry, Zambia, Rwanda. Oh, you're in Rwanda. So are you part of the Rwandan dream?
They had their dream and then we joined them.
It's one of the number 1 countries I want to go to today.
It's a nice place.
You know, it's no more like the US, the UK, the Canada. Now the Africa is rising.
If you go there and come back, will you be able to help us to change our attitude?
Of course.
Then I'll take you there tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow the Metro will not agree. Tomorrow Metro will not agree. But you see, we have Zambia, we have Rwanda, we have Zimbabwe, we have the Gambia. Oh, the Gambia. Okay. We have Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia. So you are also with Burkina, my man, what's his name? Traore.
And we are in, the one that fascinates me is Zanzibar.
Zanzibar. Oh, do you have Zanzibar?
And you see,
okay,
in
there's
all these
Zanzibar.
countries, it is not one size fits all arrangement.
So where you want to take me to, add Zanzibar to it, please.
Okay, so Rwanda and Zanzibar.
Thank you.
Noted. But on the background that when we come back in 1 year, you help us through your seat, Ghana become like Rwanda.
Definitely.
Sure. So we have an agreement here.
Definitely.
So with these contracts, we don't have a one size fits all.
Okay.
It depends on what they want.
Okay.
So you may not see exactly
what you see
the
in Ghana.
Ghanaian shape there, but we are there. And remember, we fly the flag of Ghana. That should be in the interest of every Ghanaian.
But we just want to make sure that you are in the right books of every citizen, regardless of the country that you work for.
Why not?
So that it's not just bad publicity.
And we signed a contract that will span 35 years in Nigeria.
What?
Nigeria.
The first contract you signed in Nigeria is
35 years in Nigeria. And over here, some of the assignments we have, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
And even the 2 years, it's not passing without brouhaha. Other countries are trusting us to give us an aspect of their waste management to do.
So the Nigeria...
Hopefully, 35 years.
What is like Ghana? You with YEA? Okay, you have various sections and
various
sections
sections put together.
So in Nigeria, what exactly are you doing? Because Nigeria is also one difficult country in terms of security, in terms of waste generation.
Yes.
It's a huge. A whole Lagos is like Ghana.
Yes, they
probably bigger than
I believe
Ghana,
they
yeah.
have their own style of the YEA, but we are into processing and managing it after the primary point.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess that it's an opportunity for Metro to also partner with you and get, I mean, we're with you.
Why not? When we are going, we carry the cameras.
Yes, we will have to do that. So we can, bring it to the... there is one thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go. The Lavender Hill. What's going on there?
Lavender Hill was a place where liquid waste was discharged. And I cannot believe it today that then liquid waste was transported from people's homes, the containments in our homes, and it was discharged directly into the sea. You see, I brought my voice down. And it ended as an unfortunate position as the 7th dirtiest country in the world. And at that time, the place had a stench. That was what brought about the Lavender Hill. So Zoomlion came around and we worked hard to revamp some of the
outlets.
Revamp that system that was there. There was a setup that had broken down over years. So we got a technology and then we fixed it, bottom line. So the part of Accra that is seaward, which doesn't have containment in their homes, is seaward, so it just goes in there straight. And the larger bit of Accra and its extensions that doesn't have the sewer system, which has containment and all, the trucks pick them and take them there. And today you go there and you see that liquid waste is managed properly, and the water that is discharged into the sea is clean water.
Clean water. Hey. We'll work on that. Try to bring you maybe a camera shots of that, because I heard about it, but I want to see it.
Have you been there?
I have passed there.
Please
after
go there.
the stench, went down. And I
Go
was
there,
wondering,
ask of Lola
did
and
I
enter.
just drive past? Okay.
Sometimes you just go past the place and you forget this is the
that was
Lavender Hill. There was a time, me myself, I was going to SGSS from the Choco side. So I drove past and got to the fire service area before I realized that,
You've driven past the place. We'll bring you some views on that, those of you who have a history on the Lavender Hill. So Emma, Joa Apia, say, dear, hardly really will you ever hear her speak. But we managed to bring her into the studio to break down some of these issues that have come up. We're grateful for your time.
Thank you,
Very
Anne.
grateful for your time. She is the Director of Communications Corporate Affairs, Zoomlion Ghana Limited. And now it's time for us to cross over to Parliament to bring you a sense of what's happening with the vetting of the judges who have been nominated to the Supreme Court. You may.
Or it is there as a constitutional imperative to ensure democratic competition.
Can you give me some examples, please?
Yes. The example is that, for instance, in Ghana, there's a constitutional term limit that for the you can go again. And you earlier answered it when you said somebody was trying to, my colleague John Dakun was suggesting to you that, does that mean consecutive terms? And you said the Constitution says 2 terms and that's it. Of course, we've had Professor Kwesi Prempeh, the chair of the Constitutional Review Committee, being very clear that 2 terms means 2 terms. Now, with that background in mind, what I'm asking you to share a view on is whether or not this provision is there to primarily prevent individual power concentration, or is there to ensure democratic competition? Is it clear now?
It's clear. Mr. Chairman, what the Constitution says is the law. Whatever you say beyond the Constitution is noise. And no matter the many noises you make, the law is what? It's the law. You can't read any meaning into it apart from what the law says, Mr. Chairman. It says 2 terms. And whenever the Constitution gives a term limit, you have to follow it, Mr. Chairman. Unless it's amended or repealed, you don't have a choice. There's no other interpretation you can give to it than what it is, Mr. Chairman.
My Lord, you have earlier expressed a view on interpretation methodology, and you ran us through the various issues to consider. And I think I heard Honorable Ayariga commending the view expressed and invited the students to pay attention to that. Having given that view, and I would want to ask you this. Ghana, which sometimes can have politically sensitive cases, should the Supreme Court err towards restricting or expanding executive power when text permits multiple interpretations? And if so, what factors will guide that?
Mr. Chairman, I've said this several times with all respect, that what the Constitution says is what should be done. I don't know what more to add, sir. If the Constitution says 2 terms, I don't see how a different interpretation can be put to it. Mr. Chairman, I don't know what... That's what I think, sir.
My Lord, your colleagues who came before you, especially during Kufuor's era, had cause to give a certain interpretation to the Constitution. And just for our purpose, I remember that in looking at the law, they suggested, they made a strong point in their judgment to the fact that once the president is out of the jurisdiction, there must be someone in the jurisdiction to act, and the person must take the judicial oath. Now, it's been long. This ruling or judgment has been in our books for so long a time. It's like what we previously, as lawyers, were adhering to, that when an injunction application is filed, though it has not been determined, once you've been served, you must not do anything to disturb it. And we're going on with this for a long time, till recently in the Coasivua 3-2 decision, my Lord Kulendi, writing the majority opinion, said no, there must be express order from the court. That is now the new law without any ambiguity, and says that constitutional bodies must be allowed to do their work and all. The nation has heard you, the court, on this, and we would abide. Now, having given you this sufficient background as to precedent, may I know from you whether, in view of technological impact on the practice, and you've talked about AI this morning, on repeated occasions, in view of technological impact, having regard to Article 68, would there be a requirement for the Speaker to take presidential oath when acting in the absence of the President and the Vice President?
Mr. Chairman, if the law says he needs to take an oath, he has to take it. If it doesn't say so, then he doesn't take it. Thank you.
But does the law say so? The Constitution says so, that he must take an oath.
Yes.
God may guide us with the particular exact provision, please.
If you see, I think it's Article. Well, I can't get it offhand, but Mr. Chairman,
we can look at it. You can take your time and provide that later. But you can furnish us with that later. But my Lord, my question directly related to this is that in an era of instant global communication, does this distinction remain constitutionally necessary? And should, quote, absence from the Republic, unquote, be redefined, in your view?
Mr. Chairman, with technology now, absence, it has a different meaning now, because a case came before me as to the meaning of working from home, as to whether during the COVID time, working from home, whether it's from your house or from outside the workplace. I think if the president, this is my opinion, please, if the president should be out of the country, let's say for 1 day, and coming back, yes, the Constitution says there should be no vacuum. But if the president if the technology can make you work from outside your office, but well, the law says if you're out of the jurisdiction, fine. But if you are in contact with those who you work with, I don't really think, and the period is that short, maybe 1 day, I don't think there should be this ceremony when you are coming back the following day for somebody to swear an oath. And then the following morning, the president or whoever's oath is taken is back.
Is my law departing from the law? Is the law?
The law is the law, but I'm not departing from it. But what I'm saying, this is my personal position. Mr. Chairman, what I'm saying is that let's say the president goes to Nigeria and will come back in the evening. He's not in the country, but that does not necessarily mean that the vice should take an oath to act for him when he's coming back in the evening. I mean,
so, my Lord, so you yourself, you are very dynamic in your views, because you see, earlier, your view of the law, when we were talking about some other provisions, you were like, the law is the law, which is true. But again, you have now qualified it, giving it a purposive interpretation to meet the times by saying that, yes, if the person is going out for just 24 hours, would there be the need to have that ceremony of having to take the oath and all? So, therefore, you would agree with me that eliminating the speaker's oath requirement in such circumstances would be prudent, correct?
no, Mr. Chairman, what I said was my opinion. That was my opinion.
May you are here to express an opinion.
Yes, may not necessarily be the law. If the law insists that...
My Lord, is your opinion that becomes a law. The Supreme Court is policy decisions.
It doesn't override the Constitution, sir.
Well, my Lord, we would reserve that debate for another word. But
all right, thank you.
I will come back to you. Let the chairman intervene, and we'll go back to it.
Honourable members will listen to my Lord very well. He indicated that the law is a law. The thought-provoking issue that he is stating is that if the president is traveled to Nigeria and will come back the same day or the following day, both the president and the vice president are not there, do we have to do the ceremony by way of swearing in the speaker only for him to return after the swearing in to come and take his position? So these are issues that we can look at. So he still believes that the law is the law.
So, well, Lord, I think the jury is out there to have their own bite, so I will not belabor. Now, there is clarity to me on the issue of, in the absence of the president, the vice president acts. There is also clarity to me on the issue of, in the absence of the vice president, the speaker acts. But what is not clear to me is the earlier position regarding, the earlier position you took regarding the Chief Justice, that in the absence of the speaker, the Chief Justice would have to act and take the presidential oath. Now, my Lord, is this position you took earlier in response to a colleague's question emanating from the Constitution expressly, that in the absence of the speaker, the Chief Justice takes the oath of office as acting president? Is there such express constitutional provision? Or you are just, you stating so as a matter of course, that there should be no power vacuum? Because obviously, like it happened recently, it may happen again, where the president was out, my Excellency, Madam Vice President was on sick leave, and then Mr. Speaker was also out on official assignment, and for 48 hours, there was no head of state, technically, in the jurisdiction.
Mr. Chairman, I was answering a question asked by an honorable member as to the hierarchy. If the law says that for somebody to act as the president of the country, he must take an oath, that person has to take the oath.
My lord, take it easy.
No, I'm fine.
No,
I'm
no,
fine.
you step by step.
I'm fine.
I mean, it's a good exercise that we have to embark on. If there is a lacuna in the Constitution, we must recognize it as a nation, and I believe the Constitutional Review Committee is following proceedings here. Now, my first question, and I will take it step by step. Is there an express constitutional provision that requires the Chief Justice to take the presidential oath in the absence of the President, the Vice President, and the Speaker of Parliament? Is there an express constitutional provision?
Mr. Chairman, on top of my mind, I can't give any now. But if I'm given the chance, maybe I'll go through and see whether the Oaths Act or, I don't know, say so, or I don't know.
So let's do a little exercise. Granted, there is no such express provision. In your view, as a judge, and my lord, it is your opinion that will add up to other views once you get to the bench. That court is a constitutional court. And if I may recall, I once did a case at the Supreme Court where, after losing the case, one of the panel members passed a comment that here we take policy decisions and look at the broader, affairs of the state. Just to assure me that don't be too heartbroken that you've lost this case. And it was a very sensitive matter that had to do with some freezing and of account and the state utilizing some exhibit account. And later I appreciated the position of the court that if all those monies that had been used by the state as exhibit account were to be said that go for your money, it would have been something else. So that is the background to the point I'm making. Now let's come back to the issue. In the event that the Constitution does not make an express provision for the Chief Justice to act in the absence of the Speaker, the Vice President, the President, who, in your opinion, should act as President?
Members, if the Vice is not in.
Let me take it back.
Yes.
The President is not in the country. The Vice is not in. The Speaker who took the presidential oath has also traveled. Who is the next to take?
Mr. Chairman.
Is there an express provision?
You see, there shouldn't be a lacuna. At every point in time, somebody must head this nation. The three are not in the country. The next person is the Chief Justice. The next person, as we all know, is the Chief Justice. Even if there's no express provision stating that, there shouldn't be a lacuna, there shouldn't be a vacuum. And what I was saying, Mr. Chairman, is that if the President is just away, or those who are just away, or one of the three is just away for within a day, he will go and come back, there is no need for that exercise. Because the person is coming back the same day. I don't know. Mr. Chairman, I think...
My Lord, if you look at Article 60, if we run through Article 60, all through to 12, my Lord, I do not see any express provision. I've read, I'm still a student. My reading can never be accurate. I've read 60, the entire 60. There is no express provision for the Chief Justice to act in the absence of the Speaker. And my Lord, I am laboring on this point because recently it happened where Mr. President was out VIP was not in town. Speaker himself was also out of town on official duties. And, so I just want to know from you. You are now going to the bench. What is your view? I hope there's clarity now. Thank you very much.
It's clear. I think there's a lacuna there. So it has to be filled up. There shouldn't be that vacuum. So I think the Supreme Court that has the power, it can come out to say that, to make it definite that when those three people are not there, this person takes over. And this is
Which
what
person? This person, Mr. Speaker, my Lord. This person.
When the president is not there, the vice takes over.
Yes.
When the vice is not there, is the speaker. And if the speaker is not there, I think there should be some express provision to say that there shouldn't be a vacuum.
So tell me your opinion. In your view,
my opinion,
who should be the next?
My opinion, the next should be the Chief Justice.
Very well.
That is my personal opinion.
I agree. No, Lord, it's fair. Yeah. It's the personal opinions that become the law to guide us. I agree. Thank you very much. My Lord, I want us to deal with emergency powers, emergency succession protocols. Now, constitutional succession framework designed for unprecedented circumstances. In your view, should temporary successors beyond the vice president have full executive powers? And what constitutional limitations, in your view, should apply? Because they've taken an oath. They've taken the presidential oath.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, yes, they've taken the presidential oath, but I don't think they can exercise all powers in the absence of the president. There must be a limit. For example, if the president should travel, the vice travels, and then the speaker takes an oath to act, and he decides to change ministers, appoint new ministers in the absence, it's not the best. So I think, yes, to avoid a vacuum, yes, somebody must lead. But certain decisions cannot be taken by that person. I think so.
But the person has taken the presidential oath.
Yes.
Now, how would you balance governmental continuity with democratic accountability in extended succession scenarios?
I don't understand, please.
So we've talked about succession. They could be temporal. But we can have situations where the time could prolong. And in your view this afternoon, you have also said that, look, those powers must have limitations. For instance, the person acting should not have the power to fire or even appoint ministers. I've heard you. Now, I'm saying that in view of that, how do you balance this governmental continuity, which is allowing somebody to act, and the requirement of accountability?
Mr. Chairman, the state must run in the absence of those people, as we said earlier. Yes, we have to balance it. The state must not come to a standstill. But then you must know the kind of decisions to take in the absence of the substantive people. That's what I think, sir. The state must run.
My Lord, in your view, what are the specific constitutional amendments you recommend to modernize Ghana's political succession framework?
Can you please clarify the question?
Well, I'm rooting it on the earlier foundation that I laid, the temporal succession, who is taking over and all that, in the absence of this, that, and you've already expressed some broader views. Okay, so I now would want to hear your views regarding some recommendations, because you talked about some limitations. I just need you, in view of that, to propose recommendations by way of constitutional review. Because you agree with me that even the inclusion of the Chief Justice in the succession plan is now coming by way of a purposive approach to governance, that you don't have to leave it vacant, vacuum. There shouldn't be vacuum, but there's no express provision. So share with us what you see as some recommendations to guide this whole process, because it's very critical, as we've just had.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is for Parliament to do. You have to pass laws as to what should be done in those circumstances. Sir?
My Lord, so you mean we should enact a law to regulate Article 60 further, but we can't enact where...
Or further, maybe when that court, through the interpretation, the decision they will give, then they will clarify and give further instructions in those circumstances.
1815, the Clomega, the Supreme Court left that bit to Parliament, and it is still hanging, where they said Parliament should enact to regulate 1815. It's in the light of this that I want to ask you whether in such circumstances, in view of the amendment we're looking at, Supreme Court, in taking this up, would look at it holistically and provide a guide without saying Parliament should do this bit, because this is very constitutional, in my view. What do you think?
The duty of the Supreme Court, when it comes to interpretation, is the Supreme Court. So these are very good points you are raising. I think the Supreme Court, when the matter comes before them, will have to sort it out and give the various guidelines as to what should be done in the circumstances, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a gray area. So when it gets to the Supreme Court, then they will define it and give further guidelines as to what should be done. Thank you, sir.
My Lord, the records have it that you've been at the Court of Appeal since 2010, correct? Or more? Since 2010?
2010.
Okay. And you, over that committee, that football committee, what's the name of that committee? There was a commission of inquiry or committee.
Mr. Chairman, you know that commission's name. Jamaica Commission, the commission. Committee, sir, it's a commission.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Lord, when I forget, assist me.
Thank you.
Lord, so in that shared, what did you really unearth that came there too has been implemented
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Leadership is a lonely road. Leadership is a sacred calling to transform lives. Leaders often grapple with very difficult challenges that can threaten their spiritual and mental health and overall well-being. Leaders in Worship is the exclusive program for leaders designed to provide that safe and sacred space to nourish, enrich, and empower your personal relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ through worship and scriptural exhortations. This is your strongest fallback. Leaders in Worship will take place on Friday, the 20th of June, 2025 at the Grand Arena, Accra International Conference Center. The time is 7 p.m. Ministering together with me as hosts, Eric Odro Kwapong, Sandra Houston Kelly from Ghana, and Jumbo Aniebiet from the USA, together with anointed ministers of Christ from Ruach Global. A special attraction will be Ruach Jazz. Admission is free, but registration is strictly required. Your life will never be the same.
Osi Aja Tekbo IV, Paramount Chief of Avatime Traditional Area, Mr. Kwame Anyomide, Head of Oklu, Anyomide, and Ku Unallied Families, Mr. Seth Anyomide, Madam Mercy